What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that button down here in the corner. So today I want to talk about how to hold more mature bucks on your property. Now, besides making all the habitat improvements, the next most important thing is going to be to reduce the pressure. Now, I broke that pressure down into two categories. You have human pressure and deer pressure. So let's talk about human pressure. So human pressure is going to be intrusion into the area, whether it be checking your cameras too often, walking into the food plots, accessing your stand once the season starts. So you can reduce the amount of times you need to check cameras by using a solar battery charger, maybe buying some cell cams, or using larger SD cards. Now, food plots. Once you plant plots, leave them be. Let them be a sanctuary. Don't go back out and keep checking them over and over and over again. That's putting pressure on that plot, and those mature bucks are not going to feel safe coming in to use it, especially during daylight hours. Now, doe groups are a lot more forgiving. They're still going to come in there. You can bump doe groups. You can bump young bucks. They're going to come back. They might come back in that same day. Mature bucks, if they wind you, if they see you, it could change their pattern for days, for weeks, or for the whole season, depending on what time of year it is. Now, if you've made it through the summer and you've gotten into the fall and you haven't put too much pressure on the deer, your stand access is how you're going to eliminate that pressure in the hunting season. So you have to base your stands, when you're going to hunt those stands, on the wind direction. So for instance, if you have your stand set up to hunt a north wind, but your route that you take to get there is going to blow your scent throughout a bedding area, it doesn't matter how good that stand is set up, your access is going to ruin that hunt for you before you even make it out to the stand. You're going to bump deer that you never even saw. So to focus on mature bucks specifically, you should really have a sanctuary somewhere on your property. So let's just say this is a 40-acre parcel, and you decide you're going to leave 5 acres of sanctuary back here, okay? You don't hunt it, you don't put any plots back there, but just because you don't go back there, you need to be conscious of what else you're doing on the property. If you're coming in here and driving ATVs and coming around here, yeah, you're not going in that 5 acres, you're getting close enough to push those bucks off to the neighboring property. If you're setting a stand location up here or over here, and you're walking out to get into that stand, and you have a wind that's blowing right into here, you're going to blow that scent into that sanctuary. Your scent getting into that sanctuary is just as bad as you walking straight through it. So if it's going to be a sanctuary, you need to avoid entering that area, but avoid movement around that area, and be conscious of what the wind is doing when you are using the rest of the property. Because you may be using the property up here, but your wind is still being blown into that sanctuary, it's still going to push those bucks back. They don't know necessarily how close you are to them. So if your scent's getting blown into that area, it's going to blow that sanctuary out. Those bucks are going to move off your property. So if you have a sanctuary, don't move into it physically, but also make sure that you're not getting winded in that area, and that you're not driving ATVs or something else that's going to push those deer and put pressure on it from outside of the area. So the human pressure is kind of an obvious one. We talk about it a lot. But the other pressure is going to be deer pressure. If you have a large population of does on your property, it's overcrowding for those mature bucks. Mature bucks are kind of loners, okay? They like to bed alone. They may come in to browse alone, and depending on the time of year. So you're only going to see doe bedding, and then somewhere behind that is going to be buck bedding. If you have large doe groups in all your food plots, bucks are just going to avoid that area. It's too much stress for them. It's too much pressure for them, especially in the fall when you're hunting. They really want to be isolated. Now, of course, if it's the rut, bucks are going to come around those doe groups. But if you're only able to hunt your property in the rut, you're really missing out on a large opportunity. You should be able to hunt your property from early season all the way through late season and have a good chance at a mature buck the whole time. So you need to really assess your doe numbers and reduce those numbers if it's necessary, or maybe your ratio is just fine. But does and young bucks can put a lot of pressure on the mature bucks and force them to move off your property and find somewhere more isolated that they can stay. Now, if you do need to reduce your doe numbers, there's a couple times a year that are better than others to actually take does, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. But as far as mature bucks go, focus on reducing the pressure. Human pressure, deer pressure. Now, at this point of the year, you're not going to be able to reduce deer pressure, but focus on your human pressure. Limit the amount of times that you're checking cameras, limit the times that you're going into your food plots, and then plan out your tree stand to have good access, that you're not going to get winded in a sanctuary or anywhere else on your property. Thanks for making it to the end of the video, guys. As always, make sure to contact us for the habitat solutions on your whitetail property. Also, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video.